Why eventually Sholtia seemed to reach some sort of conclusion. Her previous grin returned to her face. I don't really get it, but since you attacked me I have to destroy you. I see. Got it, your condition, that is. Oh, what's this, Lord Aints? You seem kinda down, can you beat me like that? HMPH. Are you sure you aren't misunderstanding something? How is someone like you going to win against Aints Ulgaun? Aints Ulgaun docent no defeat. Sholtia ull be the one on the ground crying before me. Ah ha 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 ha, how terrifying. Clad in killer intent, Sholtia approached at a speed that made gale force winds look slow. As she ran, each footfall caused an explosion of burned soil. Clementine's charge had been fast, but Sholtia's was in a different realm altogether. Aints was grateful for a body that didn't need to blink. She was so fast that if he had blinked even once, he would have lost her. Leaving behind her laughter, Sholtia dashed, with the tip of her lance pointed at Aints. Normally this kind of lance charge would be performed by a knight. They would use the speed and weight of their horse, but with Sholtia's incomparable upper body strength and astounding speed, hers was easily more powerful. The words deadly strike weren't serious enough for the fatal blow. It pierced the sky as it stretched toward Aints' chest. But even as the lance's tip approached, Aints was immobile. He just spoke kindly. That's dangerous, you know. It was a warning full of affection. He gave it out of concern for Sholtia. That was one way to intercept her attack. When Sholtia stepped on it, triplet maximize magic explode mine went off. The 3 resulting shock waves blew her quite a ways back. Aints told her even more kindly, forgive me for the late warning, Sholtia. I put some mines there. Maximize magic gravity maelstrom. He threw a jet black sphere at her. It was a swirling ball of supergravity. It would deal a formidable amount of damage, even to someone of Sholtia's level. In response, Sholtia immediately recovered her stance from being blown back. She waved her free hand. Wall of stone, a huge stone wall pushed up from the ground to surround Sholtia. Aints' supergravity maelstrom crashed into it. The wall warped, was crushed, and broke easily into pieces, but the gravity maelstrom disappeared at the same time. HMPH, maximize magic rib hold. Aints cast in further pursuit. Giant ribs jumped out of the earth. They attacked Sholtia like a bear trap. The tips of the bones were sharp. They bit deep into her flesh. Gah. Usually this spell would restrain the enemy after dealing damage, but Sholtia slipped away easily. She was immune to the restraint thanks to her complete resistance to travel obstruction. Sholtia, I forgot to tell you. I took the liberty of laying traps all around here. How about if you flapped your wings and flew over? I am not about to let you provoke me like that, Lord Aints. You have traps in the sky too, I am sure. It was that obvious? Yes. Completely obvious. They chuckled at each other. Aints' red flames lowered a bit. He thought, as if I did all that. The only mind spell he had planted was that one. There wasn't any magic in the sky. This wasn't a battle where he had enough MP to spare. He wasn't in a position to allocate any for spells that might not be triggered. So he smiled when she fell for his bluff. He had told it to reduce her mobility, but he didn't relax. In this battle, Aints was the challenger. The tightrope he was walking was very fine. It would be easy to misstep. He knew that, so he wasn't stupid enough to get happy over a small victory. But I expect nothing less from you, Lord Aints. You won't let me close in with such a simple charge, huh? Her eyes and voice indicated sincerity, but Aints could sense her will to fight was just as strong as her praise was genuine. Now this battle really begins. If Aints had a body that could sweat, his back would have been a waterfall. All I can do is deal as much damage as I can until my MP runs out. If he didn't, my defeat would be certain. Sholtia, wielding her pipette lance, glared at the caster standing leisurely before her, her master, Aints Ulgaun. It wasn't clear why she had to oppose the one she should worship, but her heart told her that wasn't a problem. You can take your time and think it over after you kill him. Having calmly thought that far, she twisted her lips into a smile at what an overwhelming advantage she had. Casters, particularly arcane magic casters, possessed immense power, but it was dependent on MP. If they ran out of MP, their fighting power disappeared naturally. While Sholtia was a faith magic caster, she was also proficient in pure physical combat. Even if she ran out of MP, as long as she still had HP, she could continue fighting. So even if she couldn't chip his HP all the way down, his defeat would be inevitable if he ran out of MP. And even if it wasn't he was an arcane magic caster, so he had no effective way to recover health. so be afraid of your HP and MP gradually slipping away. Ah ha ha. Imagining Lord Aintz's terrified face makes me so excited. So what was the most appropriate tactic? Make it a war of attrition. She had the battle planned broadly in her head as she tightened her grip on her god item, the Pipette Lance. This weapon's special ability was that when it dealt damage, it would heal the wielder's wounds proportionally. No, it was specialized for that. That was why Aintz didn't summon anyone to be his front line when he should have been in the back. He knew that weaker monsters would just be fodder for the Pipette Lance's healing power. Oh, poor Lord Aintz, you have to fight me all by your lonesome with no vanguard. Wearing a sadistic smile, she cast Mana Essence. It allowed her to temporarily see how much magical energy Aintz had left. He really has a lot of power, huh? How did he get that much power? He had more than 1.5 times the amount of MP she had. If you looked, there was nobody in Nazarick with that much power. As befitting a supreme one, he is truly a non-standard undead. Is he a super undead? No, a godly undead. That said, she had no intention of losing. She didn't know how it was for the other guardians, but an opponent specialized in ghost magic wasn't a tough one for her. Still, she had to stay on her toes. But why wasn't he wearing his god gear? Aintz's robe was looking somehow shabby. It had none of the dignity of his usual raven black one. Was it a countermeasure against her? That could very well be, but they weren't going to get anywhere just staring at each other. First, she should set up some healing for this long fight. Regenerate. As Sholtia cast a spell that would gradually heal even undead, recovering from the super tier spell damage, Aintz was already attacking again. He cast the same supergravity ball as before, maximize magic gravity maelstrom. As the black sphere rapidly approached, Sholtia considered using the same wall as before, but doing that wouldn't put any pressure on her opponent. To force him to use a lot of magical energy, she had to attack. She chose greater teleportation, to close the distance via teleportation and aim for a close quarters fight. Everything before her eyes warped. The scene that should have changed instantaneously felt slowed down. She judged it was the effect of the teleportation obstructing spell delay teleportation. She was right. Although he should have been within her lance's reach, Aintz was still quite far away. Instead, there were 3 flashing orbs of light before her eyes drifting mastermind. The mines had detected her. Right as they were about to burst, she dispersed herself using mist form. This skill allowed the user to turn their body into mist, perfect for a vampire. Despite the word mist, this was not a transformation into the natural phenomenon. It was rather a transformation into an insubstantial astral body. In this form, she could completely avoid attacks in the real world, including the 3 explosions. Nice try. Along with his yell, he unleashed Maximize Magic Astral Smite. The spell, which dealt a blow to insubstantial forms, attacked Sholtia's whole body. Her defense was slightly lowered when she was missed. Her dispersal was cancelled with the resulting pain. Her lips split, and she felt a trail of something slimy run out. Brilliant, that's Lord Aintz. There was no response to her sincere praise, just a suspicious look. Don't you believe me, but I really think it was a move worthy of one of the Supreme Ones, deserving my complete devotion. As expected, he was great in a magic battle, but Sholtia's lips formed a smile. His MP had gone way down. Certainly, Sholtia's health had also gone down, but it was within the levels she calculated. Whereas Aintz's MP expenditure had exceeded her expectations. She was already getting ahead. She was 1 step closer to victory. Okay, how about this? Sholtia made her next move. For Sanctuary, white light wrapped around her, creating a barrier of pure magical energy. In exchange for being unable to attack herself, the absolute protection completely shut out her opponent's attacks. She saw Aintz rush to cast a spell through the magic. Yes, you better hurry and cast something. At a glance, Aintz was winning this fight. Sholtia already knew the reason. It wasn't his ability. It wasn't his gear. It was his preparation. Yes, his advantage stemmed from preparation done in advance, from countless defensive spells. A caster's strength could change dramatically with preparation. This went for Sholtia as well, of course. That's why Aintz had to destroy the walls surrounding her as fast as possible and keep her from getting her defenses in order. Sholtia's aim was to get him to spend MP. She didn't really intend to cast defensive magic, since she wasn't even that good at it. She laughed at him as he scrambled. Oh, Yurei dancing in the palm of my hand, just like I wanted, Lord Aints. But is the reason Yurei not using scrolls, staves, or wands because you want to save them? Or because Yurei too frazzled? Or maybe because you know they won't do much to me anyway? Aints' magic resistance made him immune to lower to mid-tier spells. It didn't matter how great a caster his opponent was. Sholtia's resistance, on the other hand, varied depending on the level and ability of her opponent. If the caster was weak, she'd be immune to even tier 10 spells, but against a powerful caster like Aints, tier 1 was probably the limit. The effect of scrolls also depended on the maker's skills, but they were usually created at the lowest level and fixed there. For that reason, there was a good chance that a scroll-s spell wouldn't pierce her defenses. That might have explained why he wasn't using any. While Sholtia was calmly analyzing the situation, another of Aints' spells was taking effect. Maximize Magic 1000 Bone Lance. Erupting from the earth in a wide area around Aints, countless not just 1,000 or 2,000 giant spears made from bone thrust forward with great force. A cluster of the spears pounded into the barrier over and over with loud crashes as they drove home. Then, with the sound of breaking glass, Sholtia's barrier grew brittle and was smashed apart. Shattered fragments scattered into the air and then melted away, leaving no trace behind. She'd spent a fair amount of MP on that barrier, and it had been broken in one hit. Something like this went beyond all her expectations, but as she stewed over it, she was attacked again. I am not done yet. Maximize Magic 1000 Bone Lance. Greater teleportation. She picked a spot in the sky as her destination to stay out of delayed teleportation's area of effect. Don't think Yurei getting away. Maximize Magic Gravity Maelstrom. He must have been tracking her teleportations somehow. His spells were always flying at her right after she moved. Sholtia still had enough breathing room to admire his combat skills. That was an amazing move he wouldn't have been able to pull off without all his experience. Yurei, awfully calm. Aints, whom she had to eliminate for some reason, asked her, "How can you be so at ease when Yurei fighting me? We ray the same level and I have better gear. My area of expertise is worthless, but that's my only disadvantage. Even so, I am sensing that you have this absolute confidence that you'll win, that Yurei a rank above." Hearing her master ask why, made Sholtia feel superior. "Ah ha ha ha, then let me show you how calm I am. Did you know I have this skill?" She flashed a smile reserved for victors and released Impure Shock Shield. She emanated shock waves with the reddish-black color of blood all around her. The jet-black ball of supergravity that had been about to hit her was blown away on impact. This was one of Sholtia's skills that worked as both offense and defense. She heard Aints click his tongue. If her previous tongue click had been because things hadn't gone her way, then Aints' was due to his lack of wiggle room. Aha, she laughed at him and performed another skill. A huge divine war lance, almost 10 feet long, appeared in her hands. Its head was particularly large, and the pure feeling emanating from it proved it was no ordinary weapon. The way it sparkled silvery white as it reflected the light of the sun was beautiful. I've never seen that before. You conjured it with a skill? Ah ha ha ha. For how long will you be able to keep up that brave front, Lord Aints? It seems like you don't know what this is, so allow me to explain. Its name is Purifying Lance. She sneered at his ignorance and shot the lance. It didn't fly, it floated into the air and raced across the sky. She spent MP to give it a targeting effect, and gahog, it pierced Aints' chest. Sholtia felt like she saw his immobile skeleton face twist severely into an agonized grimace. Ah ha ha ha, just what I'd expect from a weapon treated as holy magic. Seems like it was pretty effective, huh? Another huge lance appeared in Sholtia's hand. She threw it immediately. This second lance approached at a speed that could not be dodged and went through one of Aints' shoulders. Don't underestimate me. Maximize Magic Reality Slash. He cast an immensely powerful spell. It was a weaker version of World Break, the ultimate super dreadnought skill that the strongest warrior class, a world champion, could acquire at its highest level, but it was still a top-class destructive spell among those on the 10th tier. Space was rent, and blood spurted from Sholtia's shoulder like a fountain. Then the powerful attack spell, which should have cancelled almost any magical defense, was negated. The blood flowed back into Sholtia's body as if time were being rewound. What did you do? Aints demanded. Don't be so surprised, Lord Aints. It's a skill. The tone of her reply was steeped in her superiority. So you can use all the skills you want, but none of mine work. Hey, don't say I am being unfair. This is the power Lord Peroncino gave me. Perhaps this is proof he was superior to you, so that's what you were trying to say. Before Sholtia could wonder at the sudden slackness of expression and quiet lack of emotion in his voice, he began to yell again. Let's do this, Sholtia. No matter what skills you have, my magic can top them. Aha, a shootout. I definitely won. Lose. Maximize magic reality slash and purifying lance crossed each other. Both parties were grazed. As they did the same moves again, Sholtia laughed at how foolish it was. At the same time, she wondered why she was fighting. Sholtia Bloodfallen was guardian of the first, second, and third floors of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. She was created as a loyal retainer by one of the 41 supreme beings of Aints Ulgaun, Peroncino. So wasn't it strange for her to be fighting Aints Ulgaun, formerly known as Momonga? She turned her blade on one of the 41 supreme beings. If it had been orders from her creator, she would have followed them and fought with all her might. She wouldn't have hesitated, even if it meant turning all of Nazarick against her. But that wasn't what was happening. No matter how much she racked her brain, she couldn't find the answer. Still, she couldn't stop herself. Someone was whispering to her that she had to do everything in her power to slay him. While watching Aints SMP go down with mana essence, she repressed the laughter welling up within her and turned back time to heal. Using stronger spells meant using more magical energy. Reality Slash belonged to the group that had a bad rate of damage to MP expenditure. The fact that he was spamming it must have meant that he thought the battle would be decided by how much health he could chip off her before she made it a close quarters fight. His strategy isn't wrong. He has right to aim for a short fight. If it lasts longer, the advantage is mine. It could also be because debuffs don't have much effect on undead. Sholtia smiled and gazed at the man using immensely powerful magic over and over. That's fine. I'll play that game with you. Some of Sholtia's skills were unlimited use, but some of them did have limits. She could reverse time to heal up to 3 times in a day. Purifying Lance had the same restrictions. She could use Impure Shock Shield only once more, but there was nothing appealing to her about saving them. She already decided to finish this at close quarters. Her skills and MP were just tools to chip away at Aints' SMP. I can still fight if I run out of MP, but for him it's fatal. Sholtia was fighting with her total HP and MP. Aints was fighting with just MP. This huge gap had existed from the beginning. Sholtia cast a gentle eye on Aints. He had no choice in this fight but magic. It wasn't like the look from mother to child. It was more like the pity of the strong for the weak. After losing her final purifying lance and taking the reality slash shot, it came flying back, as if he was saying, "Here's what you get." Sholtia began the second phase of the battle. So how about this? Summon 10th tier monster. Oh no, you don't. Greater rejection. The summoned monster disappeared in an instant. Aints' triumphant voice reached Sholtia's ears. I am not about to let you buy time, Sholtia. I shouldn't laugh at him. If not a skill, I'll just use MP. Struggling to keep her expression neutral, she cast a spell. Oh, then I'll be more direct. Maximize Magic Vermilion Nova. Triplet Maximize Magic Call Greater Thunder. Deep red flames that should have been Aints' weakness surrounded him. Meanwhile, 3 giant bundles of lightning bolts pierced Sholtia's body. As she sensed a big chunk get taken out of her health, a look of displeasure appeared on her face for the first time since the battle began. Is he protected against fire? No matter how strong someone was, they couldn't possibly protect completely against all attributes. There was a limit, even for grotesques with racial resistance, who chose classes that had mastered resistance and were fully equipped with god items that added resistance. If one narrowed down the number of attributes, it wasn't impossible to raise 1's resistance, even of 1's weakness to complete. In other words, Aints had probably given up on other attributes in order to get complete fire resistance. That's a pain. I don't know what attributes he left open. The only way to find out would be to use life essence to monitor his health as she tried spells of various attributes. I don't want to do all that. I'll just go for what I know has to be a weak point. Maximize magic brilliant radiance. Maximize magic true dark. Ain's body was cleansed by the holy light enveloping him. The neutral attribute darkness broke down Sholtia's. It was at that moment she didn't miss it. Ain's body swayed slightly for an instant. He was already trying to pass it off as changing stances, but she could see through such an obvious move. His expression was one of enduring pain. Sholtia laughed, but didn't show it on her face.